Interview session number 3 with James, April 5th, 2008. Copyright 2008. Wingmakers. All rights reserved. James, I know we're running low on time, so I wanted to do a quick time check. We'll need to get you to the airport in about 40 minutes, and we're about 20 minutes away. So do you want to stop now or continue for a few more minutes?
Let me add one thing, and then we can
and I have one more question if you're open to it. Okay. One of the things I've always felt a certain difficulty in stitching together is the dark side of reality. The animus, the secret government operations, the incunabular Illuminati, however you want to call it, and all these densities of the third dimension. And I assume this is part of the wholeness paradigm as well. And in light of the planetary shift, what advice do you have for those of us who are kind of flooded with negative news lately?
Well, as I said earlier, this is a literate culture where words rule the day. The language of the mind is words. The language of the heart is feelings. But the language of our presence is behaviors or activity. If you stay in the intelligence of your presence by giving it your attention, then the things that come within your locally multiverse that have a, let's say, lower density, they'll have minimal effect, as you can, from the empowerment of your quantum presence, transform them with ease. It's not so much about dissolving discord or eliminating it. It's more about transforming the lower densities through the activity of your presence. And you may or may not be conscious at the human level what your presence does to transform these lower densities. But when you summon your quantum presence to transform densities, you are activating its governing intelligence as though you were switching on a light. Then you step out of the way and you allow your presence to bring you the technique, the thought form, the action, the new behavior to transform the lower density.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about faith or belief. The presence doesn't manifest for our eyes to see, like this column of light and, transform the negativity in our life. We have to have faith that it will. And this is the problem most of us have, James. That, everything is invisible. Everything that's spiritual is invisible. And unfortunately, everything that's negative, is right in our face, solid, visceral. It's potent and quite magnetic, I might say, in its influence.
Mm-hmm. I understand your perspective, but to worry about the negative is to fret about words and feelings that are not part of the activity of your presence. They're unaligned. So I would ask you, do you want to be influenced by your 3 cubic foot human self, or the 4,200 cubic foot presence that lives within the infinite? I'm aware of the doomsday prophecies, and to some extent, yes, they're accurate. There's a looming global financial crisis and natural disasters that will impinge on a good part of our human population. But we have to remind ourselves that our human self is on a living planet that is part of a living solar system, that is part of a living galaxy, and all of these elements are moving together through time and space. And as we do so, we encounter new frequencies and dimensions. We are not on a treadmill, Mark. This is part of our journey, and we can control it no matter how hard we may try, because we're part of a destiny much larger than ourselves as individuals. Notwithstanding that larger reality, what we can control are our behaviors and which intelligence we consciously align to. The intelligence of our quantum presence or the intellect of our human self. Are our behaviors motivated by the transient desires of our human nature, or do they arise from our quantum presence as an outgrowth of our love for our Creator and one another? Each time a person aligns to their presence, they signal an alignment to love, an alignment to First Source, and an alignment to all creaturehood. While this may not manifest in the physical spectrum of phenomena, a density for the benefit really of your eye-brain, I might add, it manifests in your sense of coherence, your sense of outflowing love, your sense of multidimensional relationships, your sense of guidance, your sense of resilience in the face of discord, your sense of connection to others. So tell me, Mark, are these states of being less or more compelling than those negative, visceral manifestations you mentioned?
Yeah. I think I'll just remain silent and let you have the last word, James.